Hey guys, in this video we're going to check out another cool product from Boldclash. This is the F08 all-in-one video transmitter and camera. But this one has a built-in DVR. You can see here I have a little micro SD card here. The micro SD card is not included, by the way. It's just one that I had. It's actually smaller and lighter than the DVR03 from AIO. And let me just show you what that looks like. Okay, so here on the right is the DVR03 from AIO. I reviewed that a while back. Has onboard video recording. There's the micro SD card slot, but this was plagued with latency issues, and AIO came out with a follow-up product called the VTX03, which was just the video transmitter and the DVR, but no camera. And they seem to have fixed those problems. I have reviews for both of those. I'll put cards in the corner if you want to check those out. But Boldclash has come out with the F08 here, and they've fixed the problem with the latency. There's no latency in the video feed while it's recording, and it's smaller and lighter than the DVR03 here. So you can see the size difference. It's not as tall, and it is not as wide as well. You can see they're also not as wide. According to the manual, the dimensions are 23 millimeters by 20 millimeters on the F08. And before I forget, I'll just go ahead and measure the weight now. Comes in at 5.28 grams. And let's just compare it to a couple of other all-in-one video transmitters. This here is the TX02 with the antenna cut off. See, it's not quite as small as that. It's a lot taller, and it's a little bit wider. See the size difference there. And here we have the AIO 01 on the right, and not quite as tall. It's got these little screw holes on the side, but don't include those. It's also not as wide. So quickly we'll go over all the features and specs here. 25 milliwatt video transmitter. Comes in two versions, one with the whip antenna, which is this one here, and they have one with the circular polarized antenna. It's a 48 channel video transmitter, and you can see there's the frequency chart here. 120 degree field of view. They'll support up to a 32 gig micro SD card. Automatically saves video every 3 minutes. I think it's file splits every 3 minutes. The video format is NTSC, and the video recording format is 720p or 840 by 480. The default was 720p. I don't know how to change it to 840 by 480. There's no instructions on how to do that. I'm not really sure how to get to that setting. The input voltage is 1S LiPo, or about 5 volts. So here you can see the range is 2.9 to 5.5 volts. So you get a couple other things here in the box. You get this little adapter cable. Normally you get this side of the connector to connect to your batteries or to a pigtail on your quad. In this case it's got the reverse one, so you got a little adapter here for both sides. And they include a couple of extra whip antennas here in case you break the one that's on there, so it's kind of nice. Okay, so I got the battery plugged in here. I just want to show you how this all functions. Press the left button here, it'll start and stop your video recording. You get a little orange flashing light. And so you can see it's recording here, and then to stop it you just press it again, and then a solid yellow orange light means it's not recording. You got your lights here. It's hard to see, the little blue light here and a green light here. That's for your bands and channels. So if you short press, you'll cycle through the 8 channels in that band. And then if you long press, it will cycle through the different bands. And yeah, this is actually only 25 milliwatts, but it's actually getting pretty hot to hold here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Now the micro SD card that I'm using is just a 8 gigabyte class 6 card. Seems to be totally fine. The recordings are 1280 by 720 or 720p, and it's recording at about 16 megabits, so it's pretty high bitrate for the video. Okay, so this is a little bit of a latency test. I know a lot of people are going to be asking about this. Not a very good latency test, I know that, so those of you guys are going to leave comments that this latency test sucks. I already know that, so don't bother. I just want to show, and you can compare this latency you see here to the DVR03 video latency, which was really obvious in this test. And you can see here, barely noticeable at all. You can see moving my finger, and if you look at if you follow the line right here, you can then see when it's crossing, and it's pretty much imperceptible to me as the latency. It's totally flyable, by the way. I've already flown this and had no issues with latency. So I'll go ahead and I'll roll some video footage from the flight demo. I had this on one of my micro brushless quads, and it could handle the weight no problem. It's about a little over 5 grams, so I think something like a Tiny Whip can probably still carry this, but might have some difficulty at that weight level. Definitely a lot lighter than the DVR 3 for sure. I think about 4.5 grams lighter, about half the weight. The image quality in here I thought was pretty good, considering it's a CMOS micro camera. The lighting conditions were very poor on the day I flew this, overcast and slightly or partly cloudy or mostly cloudy. So I thought the lighting handling was actually pretty decent for this particular camera. In addition, I thought that the video transmission was also pretty good for 25 milliwatts. I got very little breakup, and you'll see that on the actual DVR recording from the EV800Ds. There was some breakup, obviously, but pretty good in my opinion.